Hello and welcome to again Past Abundance Live Show. Today I'm in conversation with Moona Ssahni. 25 years in finance, 17 of them as CFO and Chief Merger and Acquisition Officer at Rajasthan Royals. Today she runs Monarchy Consultancy as a fractional CFO to founders and CXOs across India. Moona, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Raviji, for the beautiful introduction. Glad to be here, and it's lovely conversing with you.
Great. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, first of all, I want you to help understand people who are watching live us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook what you do and why you do. Because I have heard so much of stories about you. आप इतने अच्छे से CFOs को, CXOs को, founders को, जो startups हैं, जो बिल्कुल अपने starting phase में हैं, जो जिनको एक CFO के proper CFO को जो afford नहीं कर पाते हैं, and you are helping so much in bringing the sanity to the finances. Could you please little bit give us your 30-second introduction in a more elaborate manner? Yeah.
Sure, Raviji. You've already given my introduction, but I can definitely tell you what I do and why I do. So,
Yes.
under the banner of Monarchy Consultancy, I provide CFO services. Now, whether you call it fractional CFO, consulting CFO, part-time CFO, whatever nomenclature virtual CFO, whatever nomenclature you use, for us, it is CFO services. Other than that, I do help brands with debt and equity syndication, debt syndication and equity investing,
Okay.
as well as mergers and acquisitions. And why I do this, especially CFO services, why do I do? And I also do for pre-revenue and startups, and
Wow.
primarily because a lot of startups fail in India, and there's enough
Okay.
data and research on
Yes.
90% of startups failing. And if you
Yes.
look at the reasons why startups fail, 80 to 90% of the reason leans towards inefficient financial system. It
Yes.
is it is only 10 to 20% that a startup fails because of not a good product or not a good service. Product and service are up to the mark. It's just
Hmm.
that they are not supported by the ecosystem, the financial ecosystem, the cash flow, the model, the right bundling, the right pricing, the right structure,
Yes.
the right capital, and which
Yes.
is why organizations fail. And
Yes.
not every organization fails in year one. There are organizations that fail in year two, year three, and also year five and year 10.
Yes.
Primarily because even when they're scaling and growing, financial financial systems are not kept in check. The growth is either too fast, either the promoter has diluted too early, too much
Yes.
debt is taken on board. The reasons could be different. I would say each failure is a case study in itself. But
Yes.
then, having noticed all of this, I was really, really concerned. And when I'd already led my stint in Rajasthan Royals doing what I was doing, I thought that it was time for me to now go and do different things, help
Yes.
multiple founders, and in the process, I also learn.
Hmm.
So, it's not just that of course, we are here to support, but we also learn a lot in the process. And our systems, our techniques, our methods only get better and better and better. And now, at least I can say it is very easy for us to turn around companies. We can see
Hmm.
through, having helped so many founders. Certain problems are very, very constant. So you just get into the system and you'll see those 3 to 5 problems in every organization and correct those
Yes.
basic problems. At least 80% of the challenges are taken care of. And there could
Yes.
be 10 to 20% unique challenges that a promoter or a business is facing. So that's where Monarchy Consultancy and the CFO service
Okay.
came into reality rather. Debt and equity and M&A again comes from the same set of things because you find many investment bankers who are ready to do borrowing, lending, investing when it comes to
Yes.
500 crores and onwards. But for these
Yes.
startups, when their requirements are 10 crore, 50 crore, 100 crore, there are very
Yes.
few boutique firms which really go and help them.
Yes.
And
Actually.
they are at loss. So when they need equity, they end up taking debt. When they need debt, they end up taking equity. And it's a mess.
Yes.
And because there are not so many people there to facilitate, to support, and which is
Right.
why, again, with that intent to support the startup ecosystem, these services are also being provided.
Wonderful. So, if I ask you in one line, what does a CFO actually able to see through the lens which a founder does not? You've sat across the table from founder in crisis, and what is the most common pattern you notice before the numbers reveal it? Why do कितनी बार हमने देखा है why do profitable businesses run out of cash due to bad planning or bad execution, or what is the pattern?
See, founders, and by nature, they are founders, they are business owners. So they only look at possibilities
Yes.
that we do something and it is possible that the revenue will jump 3x, 4x. A CFO
Yes.
is going to look at probability.
Ah.
And when I say probability,
Yes.
let's say there is an investment that a founder is making, while the founder is looking at possibility of it going through in the right direction, a
Yes.
CFO is looking at probability of it going in the right direction. If there is
Right.
60% probability of it going in right direction, 40% it could not go in that direction, the CFO will always have a plan B. A
What?
founder may
Yes.
not have a plan B. A
Yes.
founder will have
Yes.
plan A and stick to plan A no matter what. Because
Yes.
obviously he's invested in the business, he understands the business. And sometimes, while we understand the business so much, there are times, we get a little more optimistic about it. One is being realistic, one is being
Yes.
optimistic, one is being overconfident and overly optimistic.
Hmm.
CFO brings that rationality into play, that there's always outside, areas involved in the business, outside factors, parameters that could impact the business. And CFO brings that rationality on the table. So,
And
which
we
is
can say
why,
that
CFO
plan
is
B is
also
the
seen as the
backup.
bad cop.
Yes. Yes. And we can say that plan B is the backup plan as well for the CFOs, for the
Uh, I,
organizations.
I wouldn't say better or not better, but having a plan B is critical. I would say
Yes.
have plan C also. So you're doing what you're doing, keep doing that.
Yes.
That's your plan
Yes.
A, which when
Yes.
it goes through, then you know what is going to happen. But
Hmm.
if that does not go in that direction, immediately you change the gear and change to plan B,
Yes.
rather than going through a cash flow, challenge, rather than going through any other challenge, rather
Hmm.
than going into a pricing war with another brand. You immediately change your gear to plan B. If for whatever reason plan B is also not working out, then plan
Hmm.
C. And very rarely it will happen. Your plan A doesn't work, B doesn't work, and C also doesn't work. That won't happen.
Yes. That would
So
not.
basically, you're
Yes.
more prepared and you're more rational and realistic that, okay, while we're doing what we're doing and we're optimist about it, but we're also keeping other alternatives ready, so that अगर उसको implement करना है तो आपको सदियां नहीं लग जाए वो implement करने में,
Yes.
आप quickly
Yes.
उसको action में ला पाओ.
From the boardroom planning to the ground reality, इसको हम जितना जल्दी इसको implement कर पाए तो that will be better for
हंड्रेड
the
परसेंट
business.
100%. और पता होना
Yes.
कि क्या क्या चीजें इन्वॉल्व हैं. अगेन,
Yes.
पॉसिबिलिटी और प्रोबेबिलिटी की जब मैं बात कर रही थी, so the business, sometimes business founder is only looking from sales perspective, that I
Hmm.
do this action or I take this action, then this is going to impact my sale. What he may not, may might be missing is, does he have the structure to hold that sale? क्या उनकी टीम, उनकी कंपनी, उनकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वो सर्विस कर सकती है एक्सेस सेल?
Hmm.
क्या उनके पास उतना कैपिटल है, जो रेकरिंग कैपिटल, वर्किंग कैपिटल इन्वॉल्व है फॉर दैट एक्स्ट्रा सेल? इज दैट
Hmm.
अवेलेबल टू देम? So all of those areas also matter. So of course
Hmm.
sale will grow, but for sale to grow, even if it grows, to sustain, you need working capital, you need resources, you need people, you need
Hmm.
everything else around you. So
Yes.
sometimes it does happen, and I've seen so many cases that you work around this, okay, but forget the rest of the, you just looking at one piece of the puzzle, the whole, you're not looking at the whole organization,
Yes.
that how
Yes.
this sale is going to impact the entire organization. Sometimes it also leads to promoter burnout, because you then are trying to work too hard to make that sale go through, push that transaction, then your team will also burn out, and
Yes.
eventually that burnout will start showing in some way or form. So which is why we say structure before scale. Put the
Yes.
structure in place. If you're scaling, At least have a plan for the structure in place. So
Yes.
if let's say your revenue is X and you're going to go to X plus Y, then how that plus Y will get supported with your system? Do you have that
Yes.
capability? And
And
let's say from
and
a
at what cost? And
at
at
what
what
cost?
cost that extra Y is coming in?
100%, 100%. What cost? Is it, are your margins protected for that extra sale?
Yes.
That extra sale happens, but you lost your margin, then
Yes.
that extra sale might lead to extra losses.
Yes.
Because if your
That's
unit
where what
economics
we
is
are
not,
seeing in the that's what we are seeing in the biggest ecosystem of the startups, like the big e-commerce companies, the delivery companies. They are growing the revenue, but the cost is also getting increased day by day, and वो profitability margin नहीं आ पा रहा है उनका.
absolutely, and वो कुछ टाइम तक चल जाएगा और शायद sometimes for some organization 10 years later they're able to make profit.
Hmm.
Okay, a decade of losses and then eventually something changes for them and they convert into profitable ventures.
Yes.
But it does not happen with all organizations. So
Yes.
one has to be rational when building business, and best
Snapdeal.
businesses are built based on profitability, not
Snapdeal is
based
a
on
classic
any other
example.
thing.
Snapdeal is a classic example.
Absolutely. There's so many,
Yeah.
so many. Amazon took its own course to turn around.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stories and case studies on Amazon, one of the top companies. I mean, it was not an easy run for them to be where they are.
Yes.
So,
So coming back to our discussion to founders, basically, कि founders को ऐसा क्या होता है that why they get something wrong about the money? What is the thing according to your like last 25 years of experience? What is your single biggest financial mistake you see Indian founders are making today? And do they do like revenue versus cash flow? Why do founders keep confusing the two?
there are two parts to this.
Okay.
One is the rational part.
Hmm.
So, the founder firstly starts identifying themselves with the growth of the business. So
Okay.
their identity is linked to the identity of business. So the bigger
Hmm.
my business is, the bigger I am.
Okay.
Okay. You get what I'm trying to say. So the bigger the
Yes.
business is, the bigger I am.
Yes.
Now, for me to be big, the business has to be big. And
Yes.
how does the business become big? The first threshold is revenue line.
Yes.
Very rarely people talk about profit, but they will talk, I'm a 100 crore revenue company.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
might be making 10 crore losses. Nobody says that always in their
Yes.
introduction. Any introduction, any kind of, even informal introduction. Somebody, let's say, calls you and says, Ravi, you know what? I want you to meet this founder. He runs a 500 crore company. He doesn't tell you whether he's in profit or loss. And now you are
Actually.
impressed because he runs a 500 crore company.
Yes.
Okay, without even thinking anything else, just because for the fact that he runs a 500 crore company, now you've made and created an image of him in your mind. And
Yes.
that's how we all have been operating for the longest time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's, and because this is how the world is seeing, business owners, they are also seeing themselves in the same manner. So whatever it takes to increase the revenue, they will do. And they think that
Hmm.
by increasing the revenue, eventually one day all their cash flow problems will get solved.
Yes. But वो
One more
कैश फ्लो
deal,
बचेगा नहीं बचेगा.
but no, but that's not how they are thinking. They're thinking one more deal and this will solve. One more
Yes.
deal and this will solve. One more
Yes.
store, one more structure, one more factory, one more, and all the issues will resolve. Issues won't resolve by that one more.
Yes.
So, that is why all of this you have to start with profit in the mind.
Hmm.
And one while profit in the mind, again, there is a big discrepancy. There could be profit in the P&L. But do you have equivalent amount of cash is a question, because your cash may be stuck in, if not many things, could be stuck in your inventory.
Hmm.
Your cash could be stuck in receivables.
Yes.
So while you may have 10 crore, 30 crore, 50 crore, 100 crore, I don't know, whatever that profit is, but that profit may not be in cash, which means you're not able to pay your vendors, which means
Yes.
you're really all the time worried about your overheads and your EMIs, or you're
Yes.
worried about the
Working
salaries,
capital.
working capital, anything and everything that you need on daily basis for an organization to run.
Yes.
So then it starts eating into the piece of the business. So grow the
Hmm.
business strongly, but fortify it with enough and more cash.
Yes.
So revenue, profit, and cash have to work in tandem. You cannot look at just revenue or just profit or just cash alone. All three have to work. Cash is the king, but of
Yes.
course, revenue, that doesn't mean you always focus on cash and not grow your revenue or not grow your profit. But I'm saying all three of them have to work in tandem.
Yes.
So that's
एंड
that's that's the
यहाँ पे
rationality.
डेट का भी रोल बहुत ज्यादा आ जाता है, तो वेयर फाउंडर्स कैन टेक द डेट rather than taking the debt, they offload the equity. What is your take on that? Why is this happening? Like they
See,
don't, either they take the wrong advisor जो उनको, या they don't take the advice at all from the experts कि हमारे को डेट
90%
वाला
don't
रूट
take, or
लेना
maybe
चाहिए या
95% Ravi don't take advice.
oh my god,
95%, probably more, don't take advice कि मुझे
they are
debt
running
लेना
such
है
a
या
big
equity लेना
company,
है.
रनिंग सच अ बिग कंपनी, बट इतना बड़ा डिसीजन लेने से पहले दे डोंट टेक एडवाइस.
वो जाके सीधा लोगों से कहते हैं कि हमको ना इक्विटी लेकर आनी है कंपनी में, मुझे वैल्यूएशन बनानी है. अच्छा,
ओ
अनदर. सो लाइक आई सेड, अब मेरी आइडेंटिटी वो है जो मेरी बिजनेस की आइडेंटिटी है.
यस.
मेरे जो बिजनेस की रेवेन्यू है वो मुझे बड़ा बनाती है, पर मेरे बिजनेस की
यस.
रेवेन्यू से ज्यादा मेरे बिजनेस की वैल्यूएशन हो सकती है. इट कुड बी 10x द रेवेन्यू. So
यस.
let's say 500 crore company, 10x revenue multiple, then it is a
5000.
5,000 crore. It is a
यस.
3 ka multiple, then it is a 1,500 crore. Whatever
यस.
that is. Numbers
यस.
don't matter, but what I'm trying to say, your multiple could be 2x to 10x, could be more also in certain businesses.
यस.
But I'm saying whatever that multiple is, that makes you even bigger.
यस.
इसकी कम टर्नओवर तो इसका 500 करोड़ है, बट इसकी कंपनी की वैल्यू 5,000 करोड़ है. नाउ यू बिकम इवन बिगर. So I will not name a founder I met recently is into into very very niche business. Uh, and one question when I met him, he mentioned is, मुझे तो बस अपनी valuation बनानी है. In one
ओके.
conversation of 1 hour, five times he mentioned this sentence. मुझे तो अपनी valuation बनानी है. I
ओके.
tried asking him 3 times, sir, and I know his name, so I address him with his name, Mr. So
या.
and so. But why do you want money? What will you do with that money? Valuation, why do you want the valuation? Even if you make the valuation, if anybody is not ready to buy your stake at that valuation,
यस.
it has no value because it's a market, right? Market syndrome.
यस.
Demand and supply will decide the real valuation, not a valuation document. On a valuation document, you may use DCF, you may use multiple of revenue, multiple of EBITDA, whatever, and you might come to a valuation of 10,000 crores. But is
या.
there somebody in the market really ready to buy the company at that value? Then that is going to decide the value. And that clarity is also not there as to why we want a valuation. And why do we really want to give equity or not give equity? But it's just that what you hear, what your friends are doing, founder friends are doing, what is the value of their company. Therefore, our company valuation also should be same or similar. And therefore, valuation. Even if I could very well, I just need 5 crore of debt in the business. So, I will still go in the market to find who's ready to buy 10% stake in my company. And then people will offer throwaway deals. This happened to one of my clients last year. When I entered as a CFO, I went to all the documents. Firstly, the valuation was very badly done. And which is why all the 10 big brands they went to, all of them said no to kind of come as an equity partner.
ओके.
And when I came in and I realized that 10 very premium names have said no, and I went to the model, I saw the model is not worth investing. It's not an investable model, point one. Second, what they need is only 3 to 5 crore of working capital.
ओके.
And they're going in the market to sell the company at 100 crore. First of all, the 100 crore value is not justified. Nobody is ready to invest. Second is they just need 3 5 crore of working capital. Even if they have more money in the bank account, there's nothing they're going to do with the money. They are not a capex heavy company where they'll set up factories or buy land or anything else. So primarily it's just that working capital support and a little bit of investment here and there. So that is all they need. And it was so easy for us to just, get through the government scheme, MGTME scheme to get the money of a part of that working capital in debt and another part of the working capital through corporate debt. So combination of 3 crore plus 2 crore serve them is still serving them. So that's all they needed. And now, by investing that money into business and how they have grown, at that point, there was nobody giving them a value of 40 crores. Today, anybody will give them a value of 75 to 80 crores.
Okay.
That's a realistic value of that
And
business.
that's why the model of fractional CFO is becoming so relevant today, because
It is. It
when you
is.
have a external person, a person who has impeccable credibility and experience, and you take him as an objective third person of view, क्योंकि जो कंपनी के अंदर ऑलरेडी जो बंदा बैठा है वो तो फाउंडर से ऑलरेडी वो है, लाइक इम्प्रेस्ड है, वो तो
कंपनी
वो
के
फाउंडर की
अंदर
बात ही बोलेगा।
रवि जी, अनफॉर्चुनेटली कंपनी के अंदर ऐसा कोई बंदा बैठा ही नहीं है। कंपनी के
अच्छा।
अंदर कौन बैठे हैं एमएसएमईज में? आप ले लीजिए,
सी एस।
500 करोड़ तक की कंपनीज में मैं देख चुकी हूँ अब तो। पहले मुझे लगता था सिर्फ 100 करोड़ तक है, जब मैंने नया नया स्टार्ट करा तो मुझे
ओके
लगा इट इज दिस प्रॉब्लम इज मोर बिटवीन 0 to 100 करोड़। नाउ आई
ओके।
एम रियलाइजिंग, एंड आई
हम्म।
रियलाइज्ड रादर, 0 to 500 करोड़ द प्रॉब्लम इज डीप।
ओ
कंपनी
माय
में जो
गॉड।
लोग बैठे हैं दे आर अकाउंटेंट्स, वो सिर्फ डेटा एंट्री कर रहे हैं, एमआईएस बना
हाँ।
रहे हैं। ओके।
यस।
उनका काम है ऑडिटर्स को डेटा देना, ऑडिट करवाना, फाइलिंग करना, बस यही काम है उनका। कोई अगर सीए है या ऑडिटर है, वो सिर्फ अपना जो कंप्लायंस पार्ट है वो करके जा रहा है। जीएसटी वाला कोई दूसरा चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट होगा, वो आ रहा है जीएसटी करके जा रहा है।
ओके।
सब लोग बिट्स एंड पीसेस में कर रहे हैं अपना अपना काम, और वो उतना ही कर रहे हैं
साइलोज
जितना
में।
उनको मैंडेट दिया गया है।
ओके।
ओके। और वो उसी मैंडेट में इंटरेस्टेड है, उसी मैंडेट की वो फी लेते हैं, उनको उनसे ज्यादा सोचना भी नहीं है। ना ही तो
यस।
वो उनका, व्हाट आई वुड से, ना वो उनकी एक्सपर्टीज है। ओके,
ओके।
फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रैटेजी उनकी एक्सपर्टीज भी नहीं है अभी। ऑडिटर सिर्फ ऑडिट के काम कर रहा है, जीएसटी कंसल्टेंट जीएसटी के काम कर रहा है, और कोई कंसल्टेंट कंपनी सेक्रेटरी होगा वो अपना पार्ट प्ले करेगा। लाइकवाइज अकाउंटेंट्स प्योर अकाउंटिंग कर रहे हैं, एमआईएस बना रहे हैं, दे रहे हैं, हो कर रहे हैं। कोई विजन को, और ये अकाउंटेंट्स ने जो आज तक डेटा पंच करा हुआ है उसको मैच ही नहीं कर रहा।
अच्छा।
एमआईएस को आज तक की एमआईएस तक देखा जा रहा है, मतलब इट्स लाइक अ
हम्म।
बैंक स्टेटमेंट फॉर अ पर्सनल
यस।
अकाउंट, कि आपने बैंक स्टेटमेंट देख ली। अब आपने बैंक स्टेटमेंट भी देख ली, चलो म्यूचुअल फंड स्टेटमेंट भी देख ली, आपने कमोडिटीज में इन्वेस्ट किया उसकी भी स्टेटमेंट देख ली आपने, और कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट किया इंश्योरेंस ये वो भी स्टेटमेंट देख ली। उससे आपकी फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रैटेजी कैसे बन गई? सिर्फ स्टेटमेंट्स देखने से नहीं बन रही है।
यस।
राइट, पहले somebody has to sit down and understand with the business. I gave a personal, example, but with the business also same thing. Sit down with the business, understand their assets, understand their liabilities, understand where and how the profit is growing, what is the scope for profit to grow in the next 2 to 3 years, or
ओके।
the revenue to grow in next 2 to 3 years as is। फिर अगर वो कुछ
हम्म।
चेंज करते हैं तो लेवल, एज इज कुछ नहीं करेंगे तो हर साल कुछ रेवेन्यू ग्रो होगा, कुछ करेंगे तो वो थोड़ा ज्यादा ग्रो होगा, कुछ और करेंगे तो थोड़ा और ज्यादा ग्रो होगा। हु इज डूइंग दैट मैपिंग?
हम्म।
आज मेरा बिजनेस
तो
100 करोड़ का है,
एट
प्रमोटर
व्हाट
बोलता है
स्टेज?
एक ही सेंटेंस, मैं 200 करोड़ तक लेके जाऊंगा, पर देयर इज नो रैशनल प्लानिंग गोइंग इनटू द फाइनेंशियल साइड ऑफ इट। अगर प्लानिंग हो भी रही है तो सेल्स टीम के
हम्म।
साथ हो रही है कि
ओके।
आप और बेच दो,
यस।
आप और कर दो।
हम्म।
So Pura system, when we come as CFO, I come as CFO, I bring everybody together. Doesn't matter the
हम्म।
person is from sales, purchase, every department needs to know what is happening. One organization I joined, they were making losses, and nobody in the team, in the 50 people staff, knew that the company is making loss, except for the founder and co-founder.
माय गॉड।
ये छुपाने वाली बात है?
यस।
ये क्यों छुपाने वाली बात है? By virtue of just telling them the business is not making profits, suddenly, everybody tightened their shoes, socks up, purchases became very limited, inventory कम होने लग गई. By virtue of just telling people कि please monitor your area of work,
यस।
otherwise the company will go sideline.
यस।
Just the right communication in the right forum in the right way, not getting people into panic mode, but just telling them if you
यस।
all contribute 1% each, the company could make 15% profit this year, and the company did.
हम्म।
Because
तो
it's
मोस्ट ऑफ
the
द
CFO
फाउंडर्स
is
हैव
not going to
मिसकन।
really come and start
हाँ,
a factory for you, right?
ये
The
यही मैं
CFO is
क्वेश्चन
going to
पूछना चाह रहा
come,
हूँ।
bring everybody together. And also, what happens is one thing, Raviji, which is very good in a way. All the companies, all the brands, all the promoters I work with, and I strictly work only with promoters. I don't work with second hand, the second tier. First
यस।
tier is what I work with in the organization. When you sit with them in the first meeting, there is a level of resistance.
Hmm.
Okay. Or rather, when they want you on board, they will tell you everything that you do what you want. We want you on board. Please come, join this, that. Okay. Second meeting, there is a when you tell them these things have, these are the concern areas, there'll be little resistance. Third meeting, again you tell them and explain them a bit more why it is what it is, etc., etc. By that time, now promoter has become receptive.
Yes.
Fourth meeting, promoter will is ready to surrender and move in the direction that you are requesting and
Hmm.
join hands with you. And now the promoter brain and the CFO brain starts working together.
Okay.
It's not about promoter being right or CFO being right. What is important is both of them have to work together. And when they work together, then magic happens. So that's broadly where it is.
So a critical question comes to would everyone mind कि आपने अभी बताया कि till 500 crore and from 100 to 500 crore किसी के पास 6 CFO, no one has the right CFO. So at what stage you should recommend that a person, a company, a SME, a entrepreneur or a startup should bring a external CFO to the company to bring everything in comprehensive, like in tandem कि एक order में सब कुछ आ जाए, so that they should move at a 10x speed rather than a x speed.
So let me tell you this. Firstly, I wouldn't say that every company does not have the right CFO. They have the CFO. A lot of companies
Yes.
have. A lot of companies, it's not, I cannot generalize, but I'm
Hmm.
seeing gap in 100 to 500 crore companies also is the point. Not all
Yes.
companies.
Hmm.
Second thing, when a business was a startup, okay, you hired somebody, with 2 years experience and because it's a startup, you gave that person CFO designation as well. Fine. And it worked well that time. But now your company has become 300 crore. That
Hmm.
person's experience from 2 years has come to 6 years. But yours is the only company that person has worked with. And
Hmm.
therefore is not aware what is happening outside.
Hmm.
Okay. And because that person is not aware what is happening outside in the market, how the world is changing, etc., etc., lot of time the advice could be restricted,
Yes.
not by intent, but by experience.
But by experience. Yes.
So, which is where, wherever you feel, let's say if today, all of us, I would say even not just middle class, but even lower middle class and not so affluent people, when a disease is diagnosed, they always go and take second opinion,
Yes.
right? So I'm saying even in the business, now I'm talking about a disease in this case, but it could be anything else also. Even when we are building a house, we just don't go and sign up with one interior person. We take at least plans from two or three and then, choose which one we want to go ahead with. So that is
Yes.
precisely what I'm saying. When you're making big decisions around your business, even if you have somebody and that person is capable enough, please go by their advice. But if you think the experience is not good enough and there is merit in taking outside opinion, then please bring a CFO on board.
Hmm.
0 to 100 crore companies which don't have a CFO at all. I would say every company needs a CFO. I would also say every person, every individual also needs a personal CFO. Like we say, every
Okay.
person needs a coach.
Yeah.
Okay, every person
Yes.
needs a personal CFO and a business CFO. So
Wow.
depending on if you're running a business, you need a business CFO. If you're
Hmm.
individually, you just doing what you're doing in your, in a job in whatever, then you need a personal CFO. Because even if you're doing a job, you must be putting 10 to 14 hours in your job, which will
Yes.
leave very little time to see how your financial life is running.
Yes.
And when I say business CFO, same thing. While you're a chartered accountant, sorry, your accountants are doing what they are doing, your auditors are just auditing, etc., etc. You still need a CFO to bring it all together.
Hmm.
And you need that kind of experience. When let's say you're bringing a co-founder, then what terms you should have with a co-founder? How an accountant is going to tell you what terms to have?
Yes.
How much you should give, equity you should give? What part of it should be sweat equity? What kind of capital they bring in? How does the dilution happen? Will you unlock your capital or bring the capital within the company? So there are
Yes.
so many tiny things. People, one of the business I'm currently helping them bring a co-founder where I'm a CFO. So, these are the discussions we have.
Okay.
So, do you need a startup certificate, startup registration, and what kind of benefits you have if you have a startup certificate?
Hmm.
Another organization, it's a 100 crore company, but they're struggling with internal SOPs and internal structure.
Okay.
And while they kept insisting when I was starting that we only need internal controls, we only need internal controls, every meeting I'm discussing finance with them.
Hmm.
So when you borrow from one bank, let's say you cannot have your bank account with another bank account. I mean another bank. Let's say you have a
Okay.
facility with HDFC, then you have to bank with HDFC. You cannot
Hmm.
in parallel bank with three other banks. That's not possible
Yes.
anymore. So that's the
Okay.
RBI norm. So if that is where you're stuck, then what do you need to do with your other accounts? How do you need to manage that situation? There's
Hmm.
so much. People think that at the assignment stage, they think that it's only accounting, it's only internal
Hmm.
controls, it's only pricing. But when we get into risk mitigation, we
Hmm.
find that the insurance is not adequate, so many other things come out. So it's like I go to somebody and say, okay, please, I just need to lose weight. But when
Hmm.
that weight loss journey starts, I get to know that, oh God, my triglycerides are very are not normal. Then I find
Yes.
out I'm on the borderline for diabetes. Then I find out something else, and then something else,
Yes.
and then something else. So similar to that, how it happens to, on the superficial level, I'm just thinking, oh, I just need to lose 5 kgs. That's all I need. But
Hmm.
when I go to the right specialist, they're going to tell me everything else.
Hmm.
Same thing happens when we get into the business. We listen to what the founder is saying, and then we do a health check of the business. And then we
Hmm.
find out, okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There are A to H challenges. Then we sit with them and agree which is the biggest priority, solve that first.
Hmm.
Because all cannot be solved overnight.
Yes.
And then you prioritize. Which ones do you do first, which one do you pick up next and the next, and so on and so forth. And all the clients we've been supporting, we see a massive change.
Wow.
Even the purchase department now starts thinking on money lines, and that, okay, this is the budget, this is how our purchase should be restricted. Who's previously is only talking quantity, now talking money. So
Hmm.
we see that change happening top bottom. So not
Okay.
just the top, but the bottom also changes when the top changes.
Good. So, thank you, Mona ma'am. Thank you for coming on to the show, and we are coming to the end. Before we wind up, tell me about your years at Rajasthan Royals. 17 years at one organization, though it's a sporting cricket franchisee. But what is one financial lesson from those years that still shapes your advice to the founders? And what is one that specific moment which changed how do you think about money? If you can share it with us.
See, no matter how much sports is very dynamic. It
Mm.
changes. So no matter how much preparation, right team, right, thing I bring on table,
Yeah.
the result on the field could be very different.
Yes.
So, which brings a lot of, modesty to finance, I would say, humility to finance, that no matter how much you do, no matter what all you bring on table, things could always go haywire. You could always win,
Yes.
but at the same time, you could always lose. So the
Yes.
plan A, plan B, comes from there, that
Yes.
okay, if you win, then plan A is working, which means plan A is working. But if things go haywire, then you have to quickly put plan B. I think that has been my massive learning, and no matter how much, uh, it's also one more thing. Let me add here. Let me put it differently. It's not that the richest team wins the game,
Mm. Yes.
right? There have been. It's not about how much money you invested in players does not decide whether you'll win a game on an IPL evening or not. So
Okay.
it's the allocation and getting the right resources, right kind of players, and everything has to work right for you in that moment. So
Yes.
allocation of capital is very critical. I think that learning I owe to Rajasthan Royals. So two
Great.
pieces. One is always have a plan B. So COVID taught us, you have to have a plan B.
Yes.
There could be a plan A, but always also a plan B. RR went
Hmm.
through situations so which made us very resilient. No matter what, you still stand. You lose
Hmm.
games, things may not happen how you want. Whatever happens, you'll still stand and come back stronger. And that is what I bring to all the businesses also. No matter what happens, one shock cannot take you or pull you down, and you're not
Hmm.
putting allocating all your capital to that one situation, and which is why allocation of capital comes in. You will not take put all your bets over one action, and therefore plan A, plan B, allocation of capital, all of it in tandem works together and works well. And so we
Okay.
take risks, but we take calculated risks.
Thank you so
That
much, ma'am.
answers.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your insights about the most important problem any business owners face. But before we wind up, if anyone watching and if you anyone wants to implement the top 3 lessons right now today itself, अगर जो भी इस टाइम पे हमारे को लाइव देख रहा है लिंक्डइन फेसबुक यूट्यूब पे, तो इफ यू कैन शेयर द टॉप 3 टेकअवेज के वो they can start implementing and execute today itself, what can be that top 3 steps which you would like to
I
share?
will I will combine the three step into one step. And this is
Okay.
for a business owner.
Yes.
For a business owner, when you're taking any decision for or against, ओके एनी डिसीजन, अभी आपको डिसाइड करना है कि आपको डिसीजन लेना है या नहीं लेना है, तो उसमें
Yes.
आप तीन चीजें आपके क्वेश्चन में लेकर आओगे: इम्पैक्ट ऑन रेवेन्यू, इम्पैक्ट ऑन प्रॉफिट एंड इम्पैक्ट ऑन कैश फ्लो। कि
Impact on revenue, impact.
ये डिसीजन से आपका रेवेन्यू कितना बढ़ेगा।
Okay.
Obviously, all the decisions you're taking for the fact that your revenue will eventually increase.
Yes.
Idea is that, right?
Yes.
How much will your revenue increase? How much will your profit increase? And
Okay.
how much will your cash flow increase or decrease?
Okay.
Why do I say increase or decrease? There's a good chance for that increase in revenue you might be paid after 3 months,
Yes.
which means your cash flow might go down instead of going
Yes.
up in
Yes.
the immediate period. Eventually,
Right.
you might recover that money. Might, in the
Hmm.
sense, you will definitely recover that money. That's the idea. But what is its that decisions impact month on month for at least 6 months? You see that. That I make this decision. Let's say I'm setting up a new store. Okay, I have 10 stores now. I want to start with the 11th store. So, what is the impact on the revenue? What is the impact on the profit? And what is the impact on the cash flow? Do I have the money to set up the store? Will I need debt? How will I manage the money? How will I manage the working capital for the new store? How does
Hmm.
my cash flow go up or down in month one, month two, month three, month four, month five, month six? This is it. A
Okay.
बहुत मोटा मोटा back of pocket calculation. I'm not saying to get into fancy Excel sheets. Of course, you do
Yes.
that eventually. But
Yes.
high level, you should know how it is impacting.
Hmm.
Because in most cases of the when we're taking decisions, we get either focused on revenue or get focused on profit, and we may miss the cash flow angle, or just the revenue and miss the profit and the cash flow angle. So I think for promoters, that is my biggest ask. Please do that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mona ma'am, for sharing so much of wonderful insights. And I'm glad that you agreed to give us your time. And friends, if you want to contact for any of your financial queries like how to increase the revenue, how to optimize the cash flow, you can please reach out to Mona ma'am. I will give the details in the description, and please reach out to her and have a clarity session with her at least, so that it can bring much more clarity to your business on how a third person objective eye view can help and grow your business. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. So, friends, I hope you would have enjoyed today's session. And मेरा हर बार यही कोशिश रहती है, मेरी हर बार यही इच्छा रहती है that you should gain tremendous amount of knowledge and information, and you can execute that information to your life, to your business, to your growth. Till then, we will meet again. Thank you, and thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye.